Welcome back, everyone. So John and I today are continuing with the Southern Beer Review. We are continuing the bhamnow.com articles list of 12 breweries that have been compiled into the Magic City Brewery Trail. We are currently at stop number 4 on the trail, which is a brand new brewery to Birmingham. It's been here, about a month?
I think it's at a month.
And it's called Uproot Brewery. Interestingly, this is now, I was telling John on the way in, this is the third brewery that's occupied this building. Cahaba was here for a little while, then Ghost Train, and now Uproot has taken hold. And apparently, one of the guys that used to brew beer at Ferris, which has locations in Trussville and then over in Avondale, now does the beer here. But again, this is stop number 4 on the Magic City Brewery Trail, and it's a brand new brewery called Uproot.
You ready to get started?
Yeah.
So we picked out 4 beers again to sample, and this is really going to be new because we've never had any of their beers before. First up, we have a Mexican lager, Toto Mall.
Yep.
Is what the name of it is, and we've done this. I think our third Mexican lager we've done on this little tour. So
Right.
be good to compare.
Apparently, translated, that means all wrong. I don't know how
Hopefully
that.
it'll be all right when we.
It's got a good flavor, crisp, really light.
I'm really getting like the lime comes through very strongly, so that lets me know, or I think that maybe the flavor without the lime isn't quite strong, which is okay though for
Right.
for a Mexican lager. You don't want it to be overpowering.
Right, and I got a lime flavor too, obviously, beyond just the lime in the glass. But again, nice color. Probably, I would say maybe just a little hazy for a Mexican lager. I know the light in here is we're sitting right next to a window, but good taste, light,
Very
crisp,
crisp.
and right down the middle as far as a Mexican lager
Definitely
goes.
something I would enjoy again.
Yep, for sure.
I have a hard time saying it's as good as the Good People Muchacho,
Yeah.
which is one of my favorites, but this is strong.
Right. All right, and then beer number 2, we have what they're calling the Warmer Days.
Warmer Days.
Kolsch Lager.
I'm excited about this. I generally like Kolsch's. Almost no detectable smell.
Right. Again, very light, very clean.
Clean.
You don't get a ton of flavors in a Kolsch
Good
right
hot
off
day
the bat.
beer. Good beer for drinking on a hot day. But I mean, even though it's not super flavorful, I'm impressed by how clean it tastes.
Right.
How nice little hoppiness to it.
Very clean, very light.
Very enjoyable, honestly. Thirst quenching.
Absolutely. And then next up, we have the beer that is considered so young in their career, the flagship beer for Uproot. This is just the Uproot IPA.
And it does look a bit hazy. So smells a bit like a
That's got a bite to it. By the way, this checks in at about 7%. That's got a little bit of a bite to it. Fruity.
Yep. Got a good bitterness to it without being it's not
Right.
it's not too fruity like some of the hazies that I'll sample from time to time.
Definitely an element of citrus that I'm tasting as far as smell goes. And I'm not getting much of a discernible smell either.
I'm getting a little more of this and this, like a lot of IPAs, and this just may be a me thing, but I get almost a candy smell
Right.
from it, like a candy shop smell, which I like. But the taste doesn't really follow that. There's no real sweetness in the taste.
And 7% is probably, maybe for an IPA, that's going to be maybe a little bit on the lower end, as far as if you averaged them out. But again, a clean taste, very smooth.
Yeah, so far all 3 offers have been just solid.
Right.
Nothing that's like knocked my socks off, but very solid on all 3. I'm excited about this one. This is a nitro. I'm one of the. I know a lot of people disparage nitros. I like nitros, and maybe just because it's a good mix. But this is a nitro. It's a pub stout. It only comes in about 4.5%. I'm anxious to see what they did with it. Good smell.
Yeah, it's got a very natural, kind of a earthy taste and earthy smell. Um, Pretty good aftertaste as well.
Yeah, I'm getting coffee, chocolate on the nose, and then
If I'm being completely honest, I would like to see this stout have just a little bit more. And again, a lot of stouts are low in alcohol. I get that, unless you get up into the imperial stouts. But I would like to see this one have just a little bit more bite, maybe
touch more flavor.
little bit more flavor.
Yeah,
Is the word I'm looking for. But overall,
it's not offensive, but it's not super flavorful either. So that's probably it might be my least favorite of the batch we've tried.
Right. Okay, so again, in summary, we brought you 4 beers today from Uproot: the Toto Mall Mexican Lager, the Warmer Days Kolsch, and then the Uproot IPA and the Pub Stout Nitro. And again,
we should mention a little bit, William, about the actual location and what the ambiance is like. We're here on a Sunday.
Yep.
Beautiful day. It's a little disappointing. I don't think they've had their official grand opening yet, so I think they're sort of doing a soft opening right now. It's not really that crowded right now.
right.
We didn't have. Sometimes we'll go to a place to have a really hard time finding a quiet place to do it, but we were able to find that pretty easily here. But it is a nice space. It would look like it would be a cool place to hang out. They've got a lot of good outdoor space outside. The bar's very nice screens behind the bar. And so far, the 2 bartenders we've dealt with, I don't know if they're the owners or
Super nice.
managers, but they were great, very helpful, very friendly. So I'm high marks for that.
And listen, 2 things I would say is, if you're following the Magic City Brewery Trail, this is situated pretty conveniently between stops number 3 and 5, which was the district, and then where we're going next is Trim Tab, which is right up the road. But I will say this too. I never ever judge a brewery by its first 2, 3, 4 months. I mean, just like anything else you do, it takes time to get your recipes squared away. I don't care how much you've brewed. I mean, just about every brewery I've been to that's brand new, you kind of, there are some growing pains. But I would definitely say, that this is worth a visit for sure.
Yeah, and we probably need to consider that when we give it our ranking, that it's brand new. And but I mean, honestly, you kind of compare. Like, I've been to a lot of breweries that are new, and this one's pretty strong in comparison. I'm thinking back to some of the breweries I've visited, like, oh, this is a brand new brewery, and sometimes I walked out and it's like, yeah, I got to give them a chance to get going. But I really don't even think in terms of that for this brewery. It seems like these beers are already pretty strong.
Right.
Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the pub stout, but hey, I mean, that happens.
Well, and we're here in March, and I would say, based on experience, I would say by this summer, when they come around with their new styles of beer, I bet you could start seeing a noticeable difference. I mean, I don't, from people I've talked to and experienced, it takes 6 months to a year to get to get your beer brewed the way you want it to.
And I feel like that they've made good choices on their beer. To me, they're playing it more safe, which I think is probably wise. It's better to have something that's just solid and then trying to shoot for something crazy right off the bat and then miss.
Right.
None of these are huge misses.
Right.
So having said all that,
by the way, safe and only 6 selections right now, which I think is a good idea. You
Yeah.
have these 4. I think there's a sour and maybe one more. So as far as that goes, I think that's a good job on their part. But before we give our ratings, let me iterate one more time. Give Uproot a try, especially in a couple of months when they get their feet under them, because if this is their baseline, this is a really good start, really good baseline.
agreed. All right, so we want to come up with.
Yep.
You want to start with your
Yep.
ratings?
So again, I'm going to take into account that they're brand new, and I'm sure the rating would change if we came back and did this 4 or 5 months from now. But there were a couple of these I really liked. I liked the Kolsch and I liked the IPA. Wasn't as big of a fan as the Mexican Lager and the Stout. But I'll give it a 6. I mean, just because of how impressed I am and how clean the beers are at the start.
This might be the most we've ever diverged on something, because I respect the 6. I get the 6. but I'm going to give them a little bit more credit. Number one, I always add a point for it just being, and we did find out this is a Birmingham brewery. It's not a satellite from somewhere else, so that gets an extra point in my book. And then also, I'm going to give them a little bit of credit too for the fact that they're new, and I'm impressed. So I'm going to go 7.5.
Yep, that's fair.
This.
Yep. So if you average those two together, you're looking at just under 7. But again, I can't stress enough, the beer is good, and you wouldn't expect a brand new brewery to be able to match up with the Good Peoples and the Districts and the other places that have been established, I guess. So, well, thanks guys. Again, this is stop number 4. It's Uproot. It's a great space.
Please come see them.
And if you're not drinking beer on a day like this, as you can see through the window behind us, get out and hit the brewery trail.
You're missing out if you're not drinking beer on a day like today.
Thanks, y'all.